It's Tuesday, August 24. This is the news on PBCJ. I'm Simone Absalom Gale. 115,200 doses of the one-shot Johnson & Johnson vaccine were delivered to Jamaica on Monday. The Foreign Affairs and Foreign Trade Ministry tweeted the announcement, adding that the doses were purchased by the government of Jamaica through the African Medical Supplies Platform, AMSP, and transported to the island by UNICEF. According to the ministry, quote, "It is the first of 2 shipments of the single-dose vaccine expected from the AMSP this month, and totaling more than 200,000 doses," end quote. Minister of Health and Wellness Dr. Christopher Tufton had said coronavirus vaccinations for the general population will resume on Wednesday, August 25. This after breaking for the 4-day vaccination blitz for children 12 to 18 years, which commenced on Saturday, August 21 and concludes on Tuesday, August 24. He noted that while persons have indicated a preference for particular brands, they're all providing the same protection. Dr. Tufton also reminded persons that they can make appointments online at www.moh.gov.jm or call the vaccination center at 888-1-LOVE. That's 888-663-5683. The Health and Wellness Ministry is reporting a positivity rate a little over 43% for COVID-19 cases in Jamaica. Here's the ministry's latest clinical summary. In the COVID-19 summary for Monday, August 23, 752 new cases and 15 deaths were reported. The island's death toll now stands at 1,417. The new cases pushes the overall count to 63,464, with 751 active cases. In the parish breakdown, St. Catherine registered 126 new positives. Kingston and St. Andrew followed with 113 new positive cases, Westmoreland with 68, and St. James with 70. To date, there has been a total number of 47,843 recoveries from COVID-19. At this time, there are 589 persons hospitalized, with 179 patients showing moderate symptoms and 59 said to be critical. As the country comes out of its first set of no movement days, which started on Sunday, August 22 and ends on Tuesday, August 24, Jamaicans are being reminded to follow the COVID-19 safety protocols and adhere to the gathering limit announced by Prime Minister Andrew Holness. Here's more from Melvin Pennant.
Speaking at a recent virtual press brief, Prime Minister Andrew Holness explains that the third wave of the COVID-19 pandemic has resulted in high case numbers and the rate of hospitalization is beyond capacity of the health system to cope. In addition to the 3-day lockdowns at the beginning of the week to stem the spread of COVID-19, he says the gathering limit now stands at 10.
People get confused sometimes what is the gathering limit. For things that are not necessarily considered events, organized events, no more than 10 persons should be in a group in close proximity with each other. And that's usually probably the size of a household or so. But if you go to the bus stop and you see more than 10 persons there, in your mind, as a person who is conscious about what is happening, you should put some distance between yourself and that group of 10. That's the idea. Because the larger the group in close proximity, the higher the risk of transmission.
For places of worship, no more than 20 persons are allowed.
Of course, no crusades, conferences, and conventions, etc. will be permitted. No more than 20 persons will be permitted to physically attend a wedding. Again, I apologize to all those who would have made plans. Some persons have said thank you, though.
According to the Prime Minister, there will be no physical attendance to any event hosted by the government. Meanwhile, no funeral services will be allowed during the period August 25 to September 7. However, burials are allowed.
but a maximum of 15 persons will be allowed at the burial, including mourners, officiating clergy, grave diggers, and undertakers. As a reminder, burials will be allowed only on Mondays to Fridays, and just to be clear, excluding no movement days. So technically, you could only have funerals between this period on Wednesday to Friday.
There will be another 3-day ban on movement this weekend starting on Sunday through to Tuesday, August 31. Melvin Pennant, PBCJ News.
African swine fever, which has reportedly resulted in the death of millions of pigs across the world, has been detected in the Dominican Republic. Though not known to affect humans, the disease could deal a serious blow to Jamaica's pig industry. As a result, Jamaica is on African swine fever alert. Chief Veterinary Officer at the Veterinary Services Division of the Agriculture and Fisheries Ministry, Dr. Osbill Watson, says if found in Jamaica, it will have implications for Jamaica's pork industry. Marlon Samuels has more in this report.
Pork is the third most important meat industry in the Caribbean. Jamaica reportedly produces more than 1/3 of the total pig meat in the region. It provides direct employment to thousands of large and small-scale farmers. News surfaced recently that the African swine fever has been detected in our Caribbean neighbor, the Dominican Republic. African swine fever, ASF, is extremely contagious. It can be spread through contact with infected pigs, on clothing, equipment, and vehicles moving between pig farms. Pigs with African swine fever usually have a fever, red blotchy skin, diarrhea, and vomiting. Pigs may also have a cough and difficulty breathing. There is no known treatment or vaccine available for this disease, which can be spread by both live and dead pigs. The only way to stop it is to depopulate all affected or exposed swine herds. Farmers are urged to immediately report animals with any of the signs outlined to the Ministry of Agriculture. To tighten Jamaica's border control to prevent the disease, Jamaica's Customs, Immigration, Marine Police, and the Jamaica Defense Force Coast Guard are all on alert. For the news on PBCJ, I am Marlon Samuels.
The Court Administration Division says persons who had matters listed for Monday and Tuesday are to attend court on Wednesday. Director of Communications at the CAD, Kadisha Fletcher, says only emergency matters will be heard in parish courts on no-movement days. The CAD says court will open at 8:30 a.m. and close at 1 p.m. on no-movement days. Also, accused persons will not have to report to the police as condition of bail during the no-movement days. It should be noted that reporting conditions will be reinstated immediately after the lockdowns end. The Companies Office of Jamaica, COJ, says adjustments have been made to its guaranteed service times due to the new COVID-19 restrictions imposed by the government. In a release, the COJ says it will be increasing its processing times. Annual returns and change documents will be processed in 10 days, new business registration in 4 days, and business renewal and closures will be processed in 5 days. In addition, for the next 2 weeks, the COJ will be accepting documents via electronic drop box at its Kingston and St. Andrew office. You can visit their website for more information. Gabriel Thompson now gives us the latest financial market updates in this quick business report.
The Bank of Jamaica will resume teller services to the public on Wednesday, August 25. Services were suspended on Monday and Tuesday in keeping with no movement days mandated by the government. Teller services will again be suspended on the following days, Monday, August 30 and Tuesday, August 31. The central bank says it regrets any inconvenience caused by the temporary changes. In Monday's trading session, the JSE combined index declined by 1,749 points to close at over 419,000 units. Overall market activity resulted from trading in 91 stocks, of which 41 advanced, 38 declined, and 12 traded firm. The junior market index advanced by 9 points to close at over 3,000 units. Stocks advanced for AMG Packaging and Paper Company Limited, Berger Paints Jamaica Limited, and Caribbean Assurance Brokers Limited. Stocks declined for Access Financial Services Limited, Barita Investments Limited, and Blue Power Group Limited. Trading firm were 1834 Investments Limited, Cargo Handlers Limited, and Community and Workers of Jamaica CCU Deferred Share. Future Energy Source Company Limited ordinary shares was the volume leader with over 127.9 million units, followed by Paramount Trading Jamaica Limited with over 4.7 million units and NCB Financial Group Limited with over 3.4 million units. In foreign exchange trading for Thursday, August 23, the US dollar sold for an average $153.73. The Canadian dollar ended trading at $121.21. The pound sterling traded for $209.27, and the euro sold for an average $182.54. In market data for oil, prices rose on Tuesday after the U.S. drug regulator granted full approval to the Pfizer COVID-19 vaccine, stoking investor hopes that higher fuel demand will follow a potential step up in American vaccination rates. Brent crude added 66 cents at $69.41 a barrel. West Texas Intermediate crude futures increased by 60 cents to $66.24 a barrel. Both benchmarks jumped more than 5% on Monday, helped by a weaker US dollar after marking their biggest week of losses in more than 9 months last week. And on that note, we close this Tuesday edition of the Business Report inside the news on PBCJ. I'm Gabrielle Thompson. Pleasant viewing.
In regional news, we look to St. Lucia, where a family had to jump to safety as a fast-moving mudslide devoured their home as heavy rains lashed St. Lucia on Friday. HTS News Force has the details on their escape.
A Bocage family is counting their blessings after their home was carried away by a landslide brought on by a weekend of wet weather. Homeowner Paul Antoine says he received a call informing him of the terrifying ordeal involving his family.
Yeah, I was in town when I got a call that my house is moving, so I asked the person where the house is going to. So they said that my wife called them and let them know that they should try and get in touch with me concerning the house. And when I came up, I saw that damage. She was inside with the kids and she had to jump out whilst the land moving with the house.
Natoya Antoine describes the nightmare that resulted in her securing her children and running for her life when the land came sliding down onto the property.
I stand by the door and I'm recording how this water is actually coming from under the dirt. And while recording that, I noticed that the slab in front by the step that is shifting slowly. So I myself right there beating my eyes to check to see if that's what I really seeing. When I see the things getting closer to the hill, then I realize that yes boy, this thing really shifting. So I call the kids out and I tell them, let's come out of the house. And like after a little while I hear this peck sound. It means that the pillar, this is when the pillar break. So I just have to grab the chair and jump out and look for her.
The mother of 3 says the event occurred around 4 p.m. Friday. She says not a second after her family had gotten to safety, the property was engulfed by the land above them.
As soon as we came out, we reached out here, that's when the whole hill just came down, whoosh, behind us.
The family has resided at the location for about 7 years, and according to Antoine, works had only just begun below the property to reinforce the structure. Now, the family of 5, 2 parents and 3 children, are calling on officials to lend a hand in the hour of need.
Right now we're just looking for the Prime Minister if he can assist us with a piece of ground land somewhere around, because it's a kind of way hard on us. And I just come from on the illness. I have blood cancer and I'm under treatment right now.
Antoine says the property cannot be salvaged. The man says there was warning of this calamity.
The water is coming from under the road and it's coming down through the houses above me, plus some other houses don't have any drainage to control the water. So that's a major problem there.
And where are you staying now?
Well, right now there, we house in house right now there. If today we sleep at that neighbor, next time we somewhere else. That's how it is right now, till when we can get somewhere else to move the house.
And there's no way you can go back to the house?
No. That actually this morning I went there to get some clothes and the house is still moving, so I had to jump out.
The heavy rains that started on Friday triggered flash floods in the Castries area and landslides around the island. The family is appealing for assistance as most of their worldly possessions were destroyed in the slippage. Solange Alfred, HTS News Force.
LR Group, an Israeli company, is seeking to establish the Caribbean region's most advanced dairy farm in Guyana and produce more than 4 million liters of milk annually. During an exclusive interview with Newsroom Guyana, an LR Group executive said the establishment of this dairy farm is being done in collaboration with Guyana's Demerara Distillers Limited, which is already expected to begin selling packaged milk from this month. Vishani Ragobert reports.
Local dairy production has been talked about for a number of years, but the LR Group, an Israeli company, is collaborating with Guyana's Demerara Distillers Limited, DDL, to make this a reality. During an exclusive interview with the newsroom, Joseph Harosh, director of the LR Group, spoke about the plans for the creation of this farm.
We signed the MOU with DDL. This will be the first project for development of the most advanced dairy farm in the region, which will produce between 4 to 5 million liters of milk per year, including all the processing products, yogurt, cheese, and others.
Harosh visited Guyana for a few days before he left on Saturday. During that time, he met with a number of key stakeholders to advance the dairy farm project. Already, the LR Group has signed a memorandum of understanding with DDL. It is expected that the two companies will collaborate in a number of areas. As part of the MOU as well, the two companies are working on a feasibility study to determine the most appropriate location for the dairy farm. To this end, it was explained that drainage, access to electricity, and proximity to a road network are among some of the considerations. Meanwhile, Tropical Orchard Products Company Limited, Topco, a subsidiary of DDL, is expected to produce locally made milk from this month. The company will start selling reconstituted milk, which is simply produced by adding water to the dried or concentrated form of drinking milk, that is, milk powder. But eventually, the company aims to use fresh cow's milk for pasteurization and packaging. Pasteurization is a process of heating raw milk to remove any pathogens such as bacteria or viruses that can cause diseases from the milk. DDL's government affairs consultant Wesley Curtin also told the newsroom that DDL is eager for the creation of this dairy farm.
The LR Group has made a presentation on the conceptualization of the project. We've run some numbers about in terms of financing, what it would cost. I mean, all that looks good. It's now just to make sure that the requirements to suit the initial concept that says to us it is a viable project. It's now just to put those pieces together to ensure that. So I would say that, mid next year, we should start to see movement on the project.
Beyond tackling the country's costly import of milk products, Curtin believes that this dairy farm could penetrate the CARICOM market. This CARICOM market, according to CARICOM Today News, has an annual food import bill of about US $5 billion. Reporting for the newsroom, I am Vishani Raghaber.
In Trinidad and Tobago, Prime Minister Dr. Keith Rowley is apologizing for delays in school construction, but says it was due to construction being stopped in 2020 and part of 2021 to stop the spread of COVID-19. Speaking at the commissioning of the San Juan Government Primary School, he acknowledged that there were delays in completing this school, as well as many others. Sunil Lala reports.
The age structures of the San Juan Government Girls and Boys Schools were plagued with several infrastructural problems, and a decision was taken to reconstruct that school in 2012. Following this, The students of the school were decanted to a facility along the eastern main road in Tunapuna. Barataria San Juan MP Saddam Hussein says the lengthy delay for the completion of the school caused issues for the students, with many parents complaining about even commuting to the temporary relocation.
And I must note my disappointment regarding the inordinate delay in the construction of the school. Several constituents have in fact reached out to me and expressed their displeasure at the situation, especially some of the parents.
Prime Minister Dr. Rowley did offer an apology for the delay in construction, but said it was especially due to COVID-19. He maintains, though, that education remains top priority for government.
These primary schools are coming in 20-odd million, but a secondary school, especially one to serve a large catchment area, is coming in the order of 200 million. In the program I just mentioned, there are one or two schools, one in particular, which is on the horizon in the program, where the original estimate we're looking at is $288 million.
Dr. Rowley says in recent times, national security outweighed education as the top spender in the national budget only just 2 times. He notes, though, that unlike in the 1980s, 1990s, where government used the IDB to repair and reconstruct aged schools, this was not the case now.
But this program that we are engaged in now is one that is funded directly out of the cash flow of the state. And that is where the difficulty lies. A $4 billion program being funded out of the cash flow.
In the near future, government has plans to commission the Malabar Primary School, Siparia Union Presbyterian School, Wallerfield ECCE, Egypt ECCE Center, and the new Form 6 blocks at the St. Augustine Girls High School and Hillview College. Sonolala, TTT News.
In sports, we begin with athletics. 9 members of the Jamaican team that competed at the World Athletics Under-20 Championships in Nairobi, Kenya, have tested positive for COVID-19. As a result, they will have to stay in the Eastern African nation for another week. The confirmation came on Monday from the Jamaica Athletics Administrative Association, the JAAA. Jamaica snagged 11 medals at the championships, which wrapped up on Sunday. The Jamaica Cycling Federation has received a total of $2.6 million from the Jamaica Olympic Association, the JOA, to fund its elite track and road cycling teams to participate in the Pan Am Track Championships and the Caribbean and Pan Am Road Championships. In June, $1.6 million was spent to send a 4-member team to the track championships in Lima, Peru. The championship was held from June 23 to June 29. The results from the championship earned Jamaica a qualifying spot at the 2021 Junior Pan American Games in Cali, Colombia in November. The JOA also funded a 12-member team that participated in the Caribbean and Pan Am Road Championships in the Dominican Republic from August 11 to August 15. Results from the championships also earned Jamaica another qualifying spot at the 2021 Junior Pan American Games later this year. In both instances, it was a first for Jamaica to have such a large delegation at any cycling games or championships. The Tokyo 2020 Paralympic Games will run from August 24 to September 5. Jamaica will send 4 athletes to the games. They are Alberto Campbell, Sylvia Grant, Theodore Suba, and Shauna K. Hines. Our news team caught up with the Jamaica Paralympic Association President Christopher Samuda at the Norman Manley International Airport over the weekend. His destination is Japan, where he will lead the country's delegation.
There is a quota system, and that has really caused us some challenges. So we are looking at medal prospects definitely. We have 2 historic sports, Taekwondo and Judo. And both athletes are very optimistic. Both have trained very well, and I believe that they will be medalists. Track and field, we have a good outside chance of being a medals. And we're hoping that they will perform to the best of their ability. They have really trained. Alberto Campbell, he lives outside of Jamaica, Jamaican, but he has lived for several years in Australia. And he has done very good times in the 400, and we're looking for good things from him. And certainly Silva, who is a very seasoned campaigner, she has qualified a standard, and I feel that she will do very well. She is very experienced. She doesn't bow under pressure, and she's very focused. So we're looking for good performances, and the spirit of the camp is very upbeat.
Mr. Samuda also spoke to investments for para-athletes.
The challenges of the Paralympic movement is also societal. We have persons who do not believe that an investment should be made in a para-athlete for some reason or the other, whereas in other countries they have demonstrated that they have the ability not only to perform but also to give bang for the buck. So there are societal perceptions that we are going to have to deal with as a movement. But certainly some sponsors have come on board and have in fact continued with us for certain years. So they have bought into the vision. They have bought into the very fact that para-athletes can excel on the international stage. They can be very good ambassadors. And certainly from an education point of view, a lot of my para-athletes are at university pursuing degrees. So it's a question of how can we reform that view of para-athletes in society? How can we convince corporate Jamaica to invest in our athletes?
And that's all we have for you today, but do join us tomorrow, same time, same place, when we bring you more news right here on PBCJ, the People's Station.